workflow might be about submitting orders. It might be about understanding end of day credit risk, market risk. How do you talk to market data platform to do that? Traditional market data platforms are all geared around this hose pipe spraying out at the other end. Whereas platform as a service can accommodate, I have this basket, it's end of day. What's the credit risk behind that? I want, some LSEG tick data. What is that? I want to submit an order to a broker. Those are all platform as a service, market data as a service. But those are the types of things because you want to fulfill the entire trading workflow.
But market data is just a subset of the wider ecosystem of the capital markets. I see exactly where you're coming from. Let me. There's so many things we could talk about. We're not going to be able to talk about everything, but a thought that does occur to me. I become aware of a number of smaller, quote unquote, disruptors, newer players that are coming into the marketplace. And I think the general argument that they would put forward is that as a customer, you shouldn't be buying your systems, maybe even your platform as a service, from the company that is your main data provider. That some sort of neutrality, some sort of independence. So there is a group of companies who are arguing that and putting forward solutions that offer that. I would imagine, and I used to do this because I used to work for Reuters. You work for Reuters and Bloomberg. The counter argument is, well, look, actually, we know the data. We're the providers of the data, and we can provide systems. And because we're providers of data, we really know how to build systems. And getting them both from us is the optimal, beautiful, perfect combination. So actually buy it all from us, and you've just got a single backside to kick. Those are two competing arguments. What's your thoughts on that?
Many thoughts. I guess these are levels of abstraction. I have to think, what problem are they solving? It's all right posing, why not take this approach rather than this one? But I'm trying to think, what problem are you solving? And you might talk about vendor neutrality, but the aggregators are not interested. Their revenue stream is not made up of selling technology. Their revenue stream is made up of selling content. So they really don't care. They might to a little extent, but because they want stickiness maybe, but they're more interested in selling content. That's where the revenue comes from. Again, if you take one of these abstraction platforms, and there's quite a few out there, it's interesting. They still have to plug into the market data aggregator. Whether that's LSEG or Bloomberg or Six Financial, they've still got to plug into them. So they've still got to consume they're going to consume their content. And for the market data aggregator, that's great.
An argument that I've heard is, if one is taking that platform as a service, that system, from the same firm, organization that is your main data provider, and that word you use, stickiness, it's difficult to then at some point say, well, actually, we want to unplug that long-term traditional data vendor that we've had for many years and plug in a different one because they've been as a better price, or they've got a slightly better data set, or they're nicer people, and there's a whole range of reasons. But because we took our systems, our platform as a service from that, it's not easy for us to do that. Have you heard that argument?
I have. I think it's a nirvana that doesn't really exist. It's we think about that problem as a technology problem, probably. Put a layer of abstraction in front. You write all your applications to that layer of abstraction. Now you're locked into the vendor that provides the abstraction. So there's the stickiness there. But what happens? Yes, and maybe you might be able to switch between market data aggregators. But what happens to symbology? If you use Rix with if you use RICS and then try and switch to Bloomberg, that's not going to work. So you've got a symbology
You go
challenge.
to Figgies. You go to Figgies, or
Well, let's just say you go to Figgies then, and then you've got a field issue. You know, there's behaviour around fields. You know, LSEG has things called ripple fields. You know, as they bubble up. There's no such concept on the Bloomberg side. So how do you accommodate that? So I just think, and having worked with a global bank that switched from one market data aggregator to another, and it took them maybe 4 years to switch 90 applications. Actually, they're switching back, but you know, it's not something you do over the weekend.
I'm going to invite you back, because I'm probably going to get some of these smaller, newer disruptors to argue their case and explain that, and then I'll get you back on, and we can discuss what they said. I mean, again, I think it's healthy. It's good. I think it's good to try and innovate, to change. I think we started off at the beginning of this section, and you were saying, well, I don't think it has evolved. I mean, I've heard people say that even though we've gone TRIARC to then RMDS to then TREP to now RTDS, I think it is, that there's still little bits of SSL TRIARC code lurking.
Yeah.
There's still stuff there from the old days. So, you know, has it really evolved? And again, what I'm imagining doing a little sort of primer on what a market data is, you know, a feed handler, a distribution architecture, an entitlement and permissioning, all of that. But it strikes me that's still the same. That basic architecture.